I've been utilizing MCT oil powder for quite some time, and some people don't know it's a medium chain triglyceride. And the importance of that, it's that it's a saturated fat, but it can be utilized quicker than most other types of fats, and it can turn into ketones a little faster. So I've been using the Perfect Keto MCT oil powders for over a year now, and I'm really enjoying them. And I also have their collagen protein, which I enjoy a lot, and that has the MCT oil powder in there as well. But have you ever used some of the MCT oil stuff for either one of you guys?
Yeah, I've been digging it a lot, especially. Or
how do you use it, rather?
Yeah, especially like my morning coffee. I like it because it's almost like a coffee creamer. And it works really well because obviously I'm fasting throughout the day. I have this really good coffee in the morning, and I just feel really good energy when I'm working out and through the day. It feels like it helps me to maintain my fast a little bit longer.
All right. Now that you guys got schooled on what MCT oil is and how to use MCT oil, you guys really got to take advantage of Perfect Keto's MCT oil powder. Tastes amazing. Doesn't give you terrible blowouts. Head over to perfectketo.com/power25 at checkout. Enter promo code PowerProject for 25% off your order and free shipping on any orders of $99 or more. Power Project fam, what's up? Today we have an awesome guest, a very interesting guest. If you are into jiu-jitsu, and especially if you're in the Northern California area, then you know exactly who this is. Today we have Cassio Werneck. Cassio is Nsima's jiu-jitsu coach. He's responsible for essentially bringing jiu-jitsu to the Northern California area. He and his brother started one of the first jiu-jitsu schools in the area. What's great is he has so many connections with the Gracie family. You guys, of course, know who that is, and he shares all that information. And one thing that a lot of even his students may or may not know is that he actually competed in powerlifting when he was a lot younger. He says he was like 16 competing with adults, and it's funny because the way he puts it, he's like, yeah, it was a weightlifting competition, but it was just squat, bench, and deadlift. And, we're all looking at each other like, yeah, that's a powerlifting meet. But again, he shared some really cool information with us, some stuff that, again, like I said, some of his students may or may not know. I was talking to Josh Settlage, who is another one of his students. He works with us actually here on the Power Project, telling him some stuff. And he's just like, dude, I had no idea. So I think for those that don't know who he is, you're going to get a ton of value. And those that do know who he is, you're also going to receive a ton of value because he shared just some like great stories and, again, just like some background information on him. Really quick, I'm going to get out of your guys' way, but if you guys haven't, please take advantage of markbell.com. Right now, Mark is giving a free 30-day trial of markbell.com. Markbell.com, of course, is just where you can get daily workouts from Mark himself. And right now, he's doing a big emphasis on body weight and slingshot and hip circle movements. Again, free 30 days. Just enter your email address and boom, you have access to the entire website. And really quick, to help out with some of those body weight workouts and some of those home workouts, we are giving 20% off any slingshot and hip circle combo. Go to markbellslingshot.com, add any hip circle of your choice, any slingshot of your choice, and at checkout, you'll receive 20% off. Thank you again for checking out today's episode. If you guys like what Cassio was talking about, please find his social media links down in the YouTube description and the iTunes show notes and let him know what you think. And please enjoy the show.
Of hell?
No, actually, I'm in Wakanda.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that all the purple stuff is vibranium behind him.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to figure out how to change the background.
Wait, really? How'd you do it at first?
I don't know. I just hit a button, and then it's been like that ever since.
It's always a button.
Oh, yep. Man.
How you gents doing today?
We're good.
We good. Hey, Andrew,
what's up?
Does it sound like his sound is coming through his earphones or his phone?
It could be the phone. But,
sounds like the phone.
Yeah, but I mean, even that's still okay as long as the echo doesn't play through.
Groovy.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
My whole house is super echoey. Maybe I could just move into a different room. There's no carpet in here.
Oh, yeah, that'll
sound okay.
It sounds good to me. I mean, it could all everything on here could be better, but
Right.
For what we got going on, I think it sounds fine.
Good.
Sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to just get cracking right now, and then when he joins,
I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So what's happening, Mark?
Mm-hmm. Hey, they shut down the Olympics. You guys see that?
Yeah.
What?
I thought it was postponed or whatever, but
yeah, postponed for a year. Yeah. So it's postponed at least until 2021. They're saying.
Oh, that's going to throw me way off because I only know the Olympics if I can count back from 96 and then add 4 every year to know when the next Olympics is going to be.
Now you're effed.
You can't be on an odd number. That's going to ruin everything.
That's so crazy.
I did have, I know it's wild, man. That goes down in the history books, right? I did have Gabrielle reach out to me and tell me that, not to send everybody into a panic, but she did say that things are getting a little bit worse, but, the drugs are on their way. So hopefully that helps and that assists. And the parents that she was talking about of her client, she was able to get them the drugs that she talked about on the podcast, the chloroquine and stuff like that. Now It's really hard to get. You have to be diagnosed with it. You have to be positive that you have it and stuff like that. But anyway, she was able to get it to them, and then we'll just keep you updated. Hopefully those people survive. That would be amazing if that was the case. Hopefully we can all be hopeful of that.
Dude, that's insane. Well, that's huge. I'm happy to hear that. Also, I've been seeing a lot more people kind of with the same, I guess, idea that you had about like the virus is going to definitely affect a lot of people, but this quarantine is going to affect a lot more people for a lot longer. And I'm seeing a lot more tweets, a lot more posts on Instagram, kind of with that same idea behind it. I'm like, hey, like, this is what Mark was been talking about for like a week now.
Yeah, maybe quarantine without like quarantining your mind, right? Maybe there's a way to meet up in the middle without over interacting with people, so you don't continue to spread the virus around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one. It was on Tony Hughes' IG story where it literally broke down.
Of course.
I know it broke down like what it actually means in a like a short little test group of like 3,000 people, like because whoever it was that posted it uses the actual statistics, and out of those 3,000 people, X will get affected, X will die, but then it goes down into those that aren't affected, and it like went all the way down to like 300 people will lose their job, 200 people will lose their house, 100 kids will not have like reached their full potential, and then it went on and on and on, and it said like, and it'll take 7 years to get all of that back. I was like, oh shit, like that's a really crazy way to look at it.
Did it give like a timeline for like if this lasts X long? I mean, it's hard to calculate, but did it say if this continues on for this long, that'll happen? Or was it just a general type of idea?
Yeah, it was a very basic, general, like, just something to kind of consider type of deal. It wasn't like obviously it wasn't like scientific or factual. It was just kind of like a more of like an idea of like, hey, this is what could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the 2008 thing took, 10 years or so. It took us till 2016, 2018 for things to be strong, and then we were able to cruise along for about 2 years or so, or 3 years before this thing came along.
Yeah. So Nsima, what can you tell us about your, do we call him your coach, your sensei? I don't know what the proper...
Yeah, no one uses sensei.
Mentor?
Usually like coach. People call them like professor or coach. So yeah.
So is sensei only like on Karate Kid then?
Sensei's Karate Kid. Sensei's purely Karate Kid, or Mct dojos, or maybe Taekwondo schools. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Cassio, whenever he gets on her, he's He's dope. Pretty much he's like the granddaddy of all jiu-jitsu down here in Sacramento. He was the guy that pretty much brought it down here. So he had he had the first gym. A lot of the gyms that are down here are stemming from his black belts. So a lot of the gyms in the Sacramento area and even in NorCal are some of his black belts. He won Worlds back in 2003, IBJJF Worlds, and then Brazilian Nationals. And he's won also Masters Worlds for like quite a few years, maybe 4 to 5 times he's won Masters Worlds. And I think last year or the year, I think it was last year, he actually went down an age bracket because as a master, there's different age brackets like 35 to 38 or whatever. So he went down an age bracket last year and then won that Masters Worlds. So dude's a beast.
Does anybody do the other students try to mimic him?
Like the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is like there's so many different games, there's so many different types of body types. The cool thing about Cassio is like he does have a main game, but I'll notice like when he's rolling with certain people, he'll know what they do, so he'll change his game to help the student try to get more out of the role. So he won't go to his A game. He won't use his A game all the time. He'll use something like, okay, this person likes playing this guard, so let me do this so that we can see if we can improve that somehow. He doesn't try to like smash his students to show because he can, but he doesn't like have to smash them hard. He really tries to teach everybody while he's rolling with them. So,
have you ever seen him? You ever seen him lose his cool at all?
Lose his cool? No, I haven't seen him lose his cool. I've heard stories when like maybe he was like younger, like when he was like younger, because like right now Cassio, like his since I've been there, I've been like, oh, this is the nicest guy. And in the past he was nice too, but he was like harder on the students. Like they've had harder drills. So I think I've gotten the let's say the senior. Well, he's not a senior. He's still pretty young, but I've gotten the I guess the very warm Cassio, because I've heard some stories, man, and he can put it on people.
Do you know how old he is?
Have you ever? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, do you know how old he is?
Dude, he's in his 40s. Let me. This is why Zoom is so dope, because
you can just Google stuff.
Yeah, but I think he's in his early 40s.
Okay, and then he was born in Brazil, right?
He was born in Brazil. Yeah, I think he came here in like 96 or something. Yeah, he was born in 74. So what does that make him? 46?
Either 46 or like 400. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, he's 46. 46. Damn, he's 46. Didn't realize that. All right.
He's a beast. He's in good shape, man. He's in great shape.
Yeah, he's in really good shape. He moves really well. Doesn't like, there's like, when you roll with him, you like, I think he's like maybe 175 or 180 now, but he feels so much heavier than that. And it's so crazy. Like, I've like, this is the main school that I train at, obviously. Oh, here we go.
There he is.
Wonder if we can hear him. Oh, he's connecting audio.
Yeah, we'll be able to hear him in a second. Yep. How's it going, Cassio?
Hey, Mark, right?
That's right. Yep, I'm Mark. That's Andrew, and you know the black dude over there. It's so good to connect with you and have you on the show, man. We're super appreciative of your time.
Thank you. I'm sorry I run a little late. My headphone wasn't working. I have to come here to the school. It's too noisy in my house. 4 kids there.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. And how are you dealing with the coronavirus? Because it's shut down your school and stuff like that, right? Yeah,
it's tough, right? It's tough a lot of different ways. Not run the business. It's a lot of students that rely on this to release stress, to train, right? And a lot of those guys, I would say that 30% come from the medical field. They're so busy. I can imagine how much they need this to release the stress. But other than that, I'm doing okay. A lot of support for the students that they can still support us, right? A lot of people going to need support too. I'm imagining after this thing pass, that's going to hit hard, right? The economy, but it is what it is. We're going to have to support each other.
You still able to get in some exercise now?
I still work out. I work out home, and I still follow the workout that Nsima gave to me at least twice a week. The rest I'm try doing more cardio, like endurance stuff, try stay busy, because without jiu-jitsu, if you just do weights, it's not going to release the adrenaline, the energy that I need to deal with the rest of the day. That's why I'm pushing a little harder, more in the cardio and endurance exercise. Do a few things at the same time for like 30-40 minutes. But try stay in shape much as that I can without training.
Are you able to use the gym in the back much? Is that what you use to lift right now?
I feel, yes. I come here twice a week. The last what? We've been out for 9 days, right? I would say that I came here 3-4 times to do the one day just upper body, one day just legs. But it's depressing, man. It's really it's depressing to come here and not see it. And what look this. It's not good. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a traitor to come here by myself. Use the gym and but it's not a. I come here. Let's say that on the Sundays, and when we have a regular schedule, there's nobody here. That's good because tomorrow I know that we're gonna open. Everyone's gonna be full of students. But right now, it just feels awkward to be here. But I'm
sure you need somebody to. You probably need somebody to choke out, right?
Yeah. That's good that we're doing this online because I don't have to see Nsima. If I get around Nsima, I'm gonna jump over his neck.
Yeah, how cool has it been seeing the because I haven't seen it with many other types of like fitness, like gyms and whatnot, but I've seen a lot of like people who are into jiu-jitsu still saying like, hey, we need to still support our small jiu-jitsu clubs or schools. It's been really cool seeing a lot of practitioners still saying that they're going to continue paying to support because they're like, hey, we need somewhere to roll once this is all over with, and if the school shuts down for good, what are we going to do? How has that felt being on the other side of things?
Incredible. No, I receive so many support, so many messages. People online say those things, in social media. It's we are especially this school here. It's probably one of the only school in Sacramento nowadays that is still main adult. More or less, would say that I have a 30% kids, is 70% the adults. And
wow.
Yeah, compared to the other schools is 50-50, 60. Roseville School is opposite. It's 30% adults and 70% kids, and we still have a lot of support. It's really hard to get support for the parents now because the parents they dare focus on the financial part, focus on how they're going to provide for the family, but even then, they still have a really good turnout in terms of they still be able to support the school. We know we prepare. All of us should be prepared in terms of because right now it's still too soon. I thought it was going to be too much already 1 week out, but we don't know. These things like every day, every hour change the outcome of this. We expect to open the school in a week. It's not going to happen. Yes, we got a good response for the students, good support, right? But yes, we don't know until when in terms of once things go down south for them. Yes, we're gonna have to know how to deal with. It's like I said, in 2008 when the economic crash, we have a lot of students that went under, no work. But we support them back then. We will be able to still open the school, support them. Hurt us too, of course, but we will be able to support each other as a community, right? As a society. That's what we're gonna do. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be okay.
How is Brazil? Have you checked in on some? I'm sure you have some family there still. How are they doing?
Yeah, that's another concern, right? That feels like here. I'm worried about my people here, my loved ones here. But in Brazil, it's if you hit hard here, imagine what I'm gonna do in Brazil. If you hit the way he is on China or Italy right now, in Brazil it's gonna be way worse. I still have my parents; they over 80s, and my mom, she need a full-time assistant for her, and have a person that goes there to help. My sister is there, live with them, help my parents, but they need help, and I'm afraid those helps come outside, right? They're the ones that are the nurses or because they have families too. They have to take care of themselves. But it's not. I would say that they're kind of the same level of us. The time frame of this. Probably 2 weeks behind Italy, maybe one week behind us. But it looks like it's going to be kind of the same in terms of the numbers of infection.
When you were growing up, did you play soccer? Because soccer is huge there. So was it like either kids played soccer or they did jiu-jitsu, or did you do like a mix of things?
Jiu-jitsu wasn't there for us back then. Jiu-jitsu, it's I would say the same time that Jiu-Jitsu got introduced here in U.S. and people didn't notice was in when the UFC came, was pretty much the same thing in my city too. I'm from the capital, Brasilia. It was the same thing too. Like early 90s, we didn't hear much about Jiu-Jitsu. It was more judo for kids. I played soccer too as a kid. I still love soccer, but just watching, right? I still follow my teams and watch games. But I did capoeira. It's another martial art that I have in Brazil. It's more like kicking, not much punching, but more kicking and dance. It's a different martial arts. But I did capoeira when I was a kid. When I was, I would say, started 11 years old. I did until my 15. I took a little bit break. And I did a little more, but I started jiu-jitsu when I was 17. Judo is 17, jiu-jitsu when I was 18 years old. But I'm probably the first generation of jiu-jitsu that came from Brasilia. I'm the first one.
We see I was showing them, or I sent them the video of you with Helio Gracie. That's on YouTube. Yeah. So first off, that's really crazy because Helio, they started all of that. But when you started training, how did you end up training with him? Was that something you did often, or was it on and off? No.
It was, the thing with Helio was going back to what I just mentioned about Brazil, my city, don't have much jiu-jitsu back then, was we didn't have much jiu-jitsu instructors. Full-time jiu-jitsu instructor didn't exist back then. It was a guy that had done jiu-jitsu a little bit a long time ago, a doctor who was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I didn't have much time to teach. Chief of police, the guy that first time I got introduced to jiu-jitsu, but he was a retired police, and he showed up at the school, a judo school, to help a little bit in the ground game. But my relation with Helio Gracie was my dad. He see how much that I was into jiu-jitsu and how much that I liked jiu-jitsu, and he knew about the Gracie when he was younger, when he was in his teenagers, and he heard all the stories about the Helio Gracie and Carlos Gracie, and he used to travel a lot working, and he went to Rio. And he just got the idea of, why I'm not going there, and introduce myself and say that Brasilia needed a jiu-jitsu instructor. maybe help to bring some instructor to teach in Brasilia. And when he went to the Gracie school, Gracie Muay Thai, that has that whereas Rickson Gracie came from, Hoyer Gracie, Royce Gracie came from the same place. When he got there, the first person that he met was Helio Gracie. Got him in the morning class, and it's funny because Helio he lived in Itaipava. It's a city like would be the same that here to Lake Tahoe goes to the mount. It was like 2 hours drive to get there. He just once a week he was going to the city to Rio to teach a couple private lessons. He go back to his house. It was the day my dad went there, was to see him. Mm-hmm. And when he got there, they start talking. My dad, he's really good to talk, and he knew the stories about Gracie's. He started talk with Helio about all the old stories. And Helio was, you know all the stories about it. No? And it's, yes, and my son now is completely hooked about jiu-jitsu. And he asked, why don't bring your son here? And the week after, I went up there. It was a great experience. And we had different plans back then to the meeting that we had, but it never came to more than that day that you saw on YouTube. But it was a great experience. We spent the day there. Went to his house on the mount for the whole day. We had a breakfast, lunch, left there late afternoon. But it was a great experience for sure. And that day was important too, because that shows I was having my support of my parents for the things that I choose to do. It. That was a cool stuff.
Yeah, the Gracies are infamous. I mean, back in the day, they would put out advertisements of, you put up your amount of money and we'll put up our amount of money and we'll go at it. And I don't think at that time there was anything like that. And I think you can maybe even trace them back and kind of say that they're partially responsible for MMA in some weird way, because people would go, my understanding is people would go to the Gracie Academy and they would go there with a boxing skill or Kung Fu or Taekwondo. And, more times than not, the Gracie Jiu Jitsu practices, people weren't up to date with what they were doing and people would get choked out. And it's my understanding they put an advertisement in like a penny saver or something like that. And it said, want a broken arm? Yeah. And then people would put up their amount of money, and they would go in there and fight. So they must have been super famous in your area when you were growing up, right?
Yeah. That's how my dad knew them. For the same stories that we heard that they did here in the early 90s in LA, all the newspaper stuff, were exactly what Helio Gracie did back then when he came from Belém, North Brazil, when he moved to Rio. He wasn't original for Rio. He moved to Rio to introduce jiu-jitsu for a large city, right? To have more practitioners. That's how he left his own hometown and nearby Amazons, and went to Rio and that's how it started. Challenging people from capoeira, challenging people from judo, from karate, from everywhere. This was like the early, I would say, the 1950s. And here, Horton Gracie, the guy that invented the UFC, the first UFC, that's what he did when he moved here. Just challenging people. The whole idea of the UFC was built on challenge, different martial arts and the cage. You have a lot of different ways to a lot of different ideas to how they would have put this as the first show. They change a lot the rules at that time limit, but what the Gracie wants is just to prove jiu-jitsu is for a 1-1 for a real fight would be one of the best self-defense you can have. And they did, right? They're super famous. They were there. The rest is history.
Did you have a plan? Like, I think, I don't know if you got your black belt in like 6 years or 7 years, but I think I heard that you first came to the US in like 96 or 97. I'm not sure, but did you have a plan to like build schools here and move forward? Because it must have been crazy to think about all of that.
Yeah. I had a plan. I would say that I had a plan. I remember 94. I was still a blue belt. I met a guy from Michigan, and the guy, when I met him, he barely could speak Portuguese. I wouldn't speak any English back then. Can you imagine this?
Yeah, wow.
But I was talking with him. I brought the conversation. What about U.S.? You guys have jiu-jitsu there? I know you guys love Bruce Lee, love martial arts, love Chuck Norris. You think this would be America would like this? And he said, "Oh, this is awesome. No, they like to wrestle. They're gonna like this, And that's when it came to mind the first time. And my brother moved here in 95. My brother, he applied for college, and he applied for a lot of different places. I remember it was like a place nearby New York, Miami, LA, a few places that he knew it. And he had Stockton. For some reason, he picked Stockton. He has all different places to go, even Hawaii. But he said, no, I don't want to belong to the students because I want to focus in college. He regrets so bad that he chooses Stockton. Nothing against Stockton, but he has a different. For him, a young guy come here that much Brazilians around him makes things really even tougher for him. But it was a good for me, right? In terms of, he was here in 95 in Stockton. In school, he was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And he came to he started visiting schools in San Francisco. Back then, they had I forgot the name of the gentleman that is teach there as a Gracie too. He's a father of Carly. I forgot. My gosh, Carly Gracie. He's a father of the Carl Gracie. It's a no partition now that it competes in tournaments, but my brother trained there for a little bit, San Francisco, and he decided to come here to Sacramento. He saw in a yellow pages, right? That's all. Oh,
yeah.
A school, jiu-jitsu school. He went there and he trained with those the guys that were there. They liked him. Oh, why don't train here sometimes? And he started training at this school, and they were. Black belt in jiu-jitsu, no jiu-jitsu. There was a Japanese jiu-jitsu they were training, but they were following the VCRs from Gracie's. They would teach just the things that the Gracie was teaching. The VCRs, they would grab the tapes and teach in classes. They never saw a guy like my brother rolling. But again, he was a college kid, blue belt, a good blue belt, but not a competitive blue belt. And they like him, and they start talking. Said, hey, if you guys think I'm good, you need to see my young brother. And it was me. And they why don't bring him here? Do a seminar for us. That was the first time that I came here. It was 96, right? But yes, it was in 96. I did this seminar there. But things didn't. I was supposed to stay there for months. It was a seminar. I was stay a month teaching at this school, but things didn't go well for us. The instructors, I don't know what's going on back then, but I think it was intimidated by us, afraid that we would take the students away from them. Yeah, and they wear. I was a purple belt. They wear a black belt. For the white belts, that's why you pay this purple belt to come here teach you if you have a black belt instructor. And the first day that I teach this class, I think I told Nsima about this, but the first day I teach there, people kind of hesitant to learn with me, not showing much respect for this young kid, they love to roll. And I told my brother, hey, you said those people here is nice, they don't seem too friendly with me. I think I need to show to them they respect me. And I stopped the seminar, I put everyone's in the line like this, and I roll with everyone. And after that, I got the respect because the next day, a few guys show up, the rest didn't show up to the class. But yeah, it must have been.
was going to say, it must have been exciting teaching people back then when they didn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. It must have been really eye-opening for a lot of people that were first exposed to it.
It was because we just mentioned about the challenges, right? And they come back then. The people that were doing jiu-jitsu, they came for different martial arts too. And they heard a little bit here the stories about the UFC. They watched it, the first ones, and they know it was like a style against a style. Or they heard the stories from down south, SoCal, what they were doing there. But as it feels like every role was a little bit challenging. I never got through a fight. We'll start rolling, the guy get frustrated, said, "Can I throw punches?" But I have a few cases of guys getting super frustrated, and we feels like we're gonna get in a fight. But you can imagine a 22 years old kid that will train twice a day in Brazil, train for competitions. Get here, you don't see a guys that he can roll with. Every roll for me would be a challenge, And they came with the mentality of this. Let me challenge this guy, see what he can do. And yes, we have roles that feels like a challenge. The days that I teach back then, 96. But fast forward a little bit after that, I done this seminar. A few students for this place, and they said that we don't need to come anymore. Left after like say 3 sections, they said, "You know what? You guys don't need to come here anymore. You guys can leave." We left, and I have a few guys that follow us from this place. You know what? They were super. And one of the guys was Terry Maxwell. He's one of my black belts. I have the school in South Sac. He said, "No, you need to do something with this. The things that I never saw what you've done in terms of martial arts. We need to open a school here. We need to do something." But I said, "Look, I'm not going to live here illegal. My brother here is just doing school. If you find a place that we can roll, you can train, yes. Okay. But I'm not pretending. I'm not staying here if it's not with a paper legal. We don't know how to do those things back then. We don't have no idea how it would be possible for us. But if I found a rare house where we can train, that's how I started the first. I would say that was the seed for the Werneck Jiu-Jitsu was built on this place in South Sac in 96. But he opened, he just opened the doors and put the mats on the floor. Word of mouth, start talking to people to show up. And like I said, most of the people had an experience in different martial arts, and they walk in, hey, what is this? And I had a little bit my side of the Gracie challenge. Yes, we can start roll. And we sometimes start with stand up and with takedowns, and sometimes it's just start on the ground. Yes, that's how we brought some students, but we lost a lot of students too, because a lot of guys was frustrated with their arm hurt and going conscious, things like this.
Oh man!
But that was the beginning.
Is that school still around, or did that just turn into your school now?
Just turned into, turned into my school. They was there until I would say early 2000, if I'm not wrong. But my brother and I went back. 96, I spent most of the year here. I came here in the first semester for like 3 months. I went back to Brazil. And I came back here. They had the Pan Ams in 96, right? Yes. And I stayed with my brother for another 3-4 months here. And trained here, competed in local tournaments, sambo tournaments. Had a few jiu-jitsu tournaments too that in the SoCal that already exist. I was going there. But when I left, my brother was running the class that we had there. It was an official class. Was a they get together on the evenings. They were there rolling for a couple hours. But as my brother were here until 98. He moved to Las Vegas. Got married, moved to Las Vegas. But they kept the place until I would say 2000, 2001. And
if everybody learns the same moves and understands the same execution, how does somebody beat somebody else? Like, is it like a physical game of chess? You know, obviously your genetics will play into it, your speed, your strength, your endurance. But I find it really fascinating that, you know, you could have, you know, two white belts or two black belts, and they learn the same stuff from the same school. But yet one guy is able to kind of come out on top because he can kind of figure out, you know, maybe where the other guy has a weakness or something. Like, what have you noticed has been, you know, the key contributing factor to somebody continuing to make progress? Because you've been doing it for so long, but you can still work on mastering this trade, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because first it's who's more dedicated, right? Who's going to spend time more training? If you learn the same thing, but you have more dedication than the other person, this is going to count in your favor. They say that hard work beat talent. But if the guy has hard work and talent, it's going to be tough to beat him. But in jiu-jitsu, I think it's because so many different outcomes can happen, right? In terms of develop takedowns, develop guard passing, develop a game that leg games, attack a lot of legs. Nowadays, have a lot of people who like to attack legs. But it's a combination of dedication, 100%, style. They say the style make fights, right? Sometimes you have a style that like here we train. We say this: 99% of your train is going to be with your people, your guys, right? You like you said, you're going to learn the same techniques in the same room, and you're going to roll with the same people. You're going to spar with the same people. It's you to adapt your game with the things that you're good at in a different type of games with guys with different games for your game, your jiu-jitsu style to get exposed for different styles. One thing that we have here, because we have a lot of different styles, which is good. But it's a style of make fights. They say there's a lot of MMA. It can be translated for jiu-jitsu too. But it's in different sports like this, right? If you take two guys that they come together, but one for some reason learn faster or get better in a tournament, it's how much you expose yourself, how much you want this. I think that's how it come down to. But style it's happen a lot too. Guys with the guy with a particular style that always give you trouble. It's pain in the butt, because everything that you do, he has an answer for those movements. But that style is going to help you to improve for your jiu-jitsu in a lot of different, to deal with different scenarios.
What about like body size? Like if somebody, you know, if two students are on the same pace, but one just happens to be real tall and lengthy, and the other one's real stocky and short, have you noticed that one benefits better than the other?
Oh yeah, this is huge. If you jiu-jitsu, I think, is built for all different type of bodies, for the athletic, for the stocky, chubby, for the lanky guy, the tall, skinny. That's huge too. This is going to answer Mark's question too, because if you adapt your body for the style that fits better for you, it's going to help you a lot. And what I see a lot is guys that have, let's say, that have this super tall, lanky, but they use the kind of stocky type of game. This it's really bad for him, because it's not adapting for what it can take him the best for him. But the guys that they know how to use this in their favor, that's make them way better than the others, 100%. We have guys here that are stocky, short, but they know how to use the hooks, the leverage in their favor, how to bring the opponent to their game. They're really good at attract them to their game. And yes, that helps a lot for sure.
I think that's why I think
is it important? Go
I think it's what, like, I hear a lot of people that they're like, I don't want to start jujitsu until I get in a little bit better shape or till I do something else. But jujitsu is so awesome because, like you said, like if you have a belly, there are guys that have certain games working with their belly, you know, and utilizing that. So it's like you can come in whenever. You don't need to get into better shape. You can just start improving immediately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's that we hear a lot, right? I'm going to get in better shape to start train jiu-jitsu. Yeah, it's never going to happen. The way you're going to lose, it's like you try do diet, not exercising. If you don't have a different goal to do it, you're never going to do it, right? You need to put 2-3 things together to make your goals to go through. If it's not going to work. Yes, you have first things to start understand jiu-jitsu. You know, try, because it's hard for the beginning practitioners. It's really hard to understand the game. You know, play chess with the, and as soon as you start adapting what you have, your tools to style to put in your game, things that you can be good at. It's incredible how much you can improve just to start understanding a little bit more about your body, your movements, hooks, like we mentioned before, grips, the idea to be on a bottle, why you're doing guard, why you passing someone's guard, why you defending this, how you attacking. This makes a huge difference for you to start learning, progressing in jiu-jitsu.
Is it an important factor to be like aggressive and to like not lose sight of the fact that it's kind of a fight, or is that a disadvantage? Are you better off being more calm and just thinking of it as a sport?
That goes as we just mentioned. That goes about style. This means a style for me. It's not just your type of body, right? A lot of times they ask me, "Hey, Cass, what should I do next to improve my game? What I'm missing in my game?" And the first thing coming in mind is this: "Oh, you're too passive, or you're too aggressive. You don't.
I see.
You don't see things coming out present for you because you already moved the pieces already. You know, you already move your in the wrong direction because you just answer with your instinct, your aggressive instinct. But it's good to manage to have both. You know, just for example, one of the guys that we have here, probably one of the most technical guys here, that's the Nsima best Julian. He used to be super mellow. His nickname is Flow because he flow like a water. Every move that he does, it doesn't change his face. It doesn't change the way that he approach jiu-jitsu. It's just beautiful. It's flawless. The way they describe his jiu-jitsu. It's no effort at all to use energy. It's just if you get the best out of him in a good technique, is accept that, we find a way out, but he never fight hard to avoid those. But he likes to compete too. And this goes against the competition that he signed up for. With a rule set, with time, with a point system. The way that he plays his jiu-jitsu is not good for tournaments. That's why I would say the last 2 years, I start pushing him to be more aggressive. No, you cannot accept this. Fight hard. Don't get swept. You know, try past the guard. Don't accept that he recover his guard. Keep the pressure on. And I think that I have Nsima as a training part, force him to do more like this, and force Nsima to be more smooth, more flawless, more see things before react with his muscle, with his athletic ability. That's why one help each other. One to be more aggressive, the other one to be more nice, smooth, see the things coming before react. But yes, aggressive can hurt you, and passive can hurt you too. Both ways. It's how to manage when to bring the best out of your aggressive and to be the back to the come down slow, like Toby. Toby, one of the students we have here too, the black belt, super methodical game. He doesn't move if he's 100% sure this is going to work for him. He doesn't expose much himself. And sometimes the same thing. You need to force him to be more aggressive, to push harder sometimes.
When Nsima came through the doors, were you guys pretty excited? You're like, hey, we got a big bodybuilder to beat up.
Yeah, it's funny because he said he was a soccer player. So now, first thing before I mentioned that, before I knew,
like, yeah, right.
But it's pretty humbling. He didn't say who he was. He just walked here and said, I want to train at this. I said, yeah, no problem, no. And said, I done different things. I play soccer for you. Look at him, man, he's so big for soccer. How'd that happen? Yeah, but we found out more about him as he started training. But he never came here. I'm a bodybuilding, doing raise this much of deadlift, doing bench press this way, win this, win that. No, he just came here with mentality that I wanna do a competitive martial arts. That's one thing that he said. I said, okay, good. You're young, athletic. If you put your time, keep right now, keep your strength, your size outside the mat. Right now, you just focus on the technique. And but he's a good listener, man, because everyone that sign up here, the first thing that I tell them, look, you're gonna see a lot of upper belts here rolling 45 minutes. Don't try being one of those guys. Every time that you roll, take as a private lesson for you. The rounds is 6 minutes. Every guy that you roll, you cannot roll for another white belt. Doesn't matter if it's a blue belt. Later, you're gonna learn the ones gonna help you the most. The ones gonna be more. They're gonna help. They're gonna be more side coaching. They're gonna talk as they're rolling. You're gonna learn more. But try to take every role that you have as a private lesson for you. And they say, okay, I'm gonna do that. But when they start roll, it feels like they need to bring the best of them, pushing against the upper belts. The upper belts, they're not there to push them for them. They're there to help you, right? If they want to roll a tough round, they're going to ask their upper belts. They're going to ask the white belt to roll. The moment is just to help the beginners to get better. It's not to get better, to understand the game. What they can do, what is right, what is wrong. Once they start learning, when they get the blue belt, they're going to free to roll. But spend the first year just learning much as they can is very important. Nsima already does that. Every time they roll, sometimes he roll for 6, whatever time it is, for 6 minutes. He spend at least 1-2 minutes, ask what he need to do to improve. What do you do here? How can I do this? And finish class, spend time to fix the things that he saw, they saw he's rolling when he was sparring. But yes, it's very important. That makes a difference too, for sure.
Yeah, we see that a lot with lifting. When people are lifting in other sports where people are sprinting, you're going against other people. You always compete against other people. That's part of sport. But in the case of like powerlifting, you're just going against the weights, but you can't go beyond what you're capable of doing. You have to stay in your lane. And if you can use 2 plates on each side for squats and move it comfortably and move the weight well and execute, then you can progress. But you can't progress and try to do 2 plates and 10 on each side with your knees caving in, your back rounding. You're not going to learn the technique. It doesn't really teach your body to get any better. So I'd imagine you see a lot of that jiu-jitsu where people are straining so hard and working. It's great that they're working hard. It's great they got some of that aggression, but they probably need to kind of chill out a little bit more so they can relax, so they can learn and absorb what you're trying to teach, right?
Yeah, that's true. See, everywhere, everything that you do, it's a science behind. It's a technique behind, right? You cannot just go expecting. And a lot of guys, I understand, they come here because they need, it's a layout for them. They need to release the stress. And they feels like the way to do in jiu-jitsu is not punching bags. We don't punch in bags. We don't do katas. The way to release your stress, it's rolling, right? As you put yourself there, you're going to feel exhausted. You're going to feel tired. You're going to boom. But it's a call for losing students. Because when we started too, super spazzy. You're gonna hurt. The reason that I put them against with the upper belt is because the upper belt is gonna see coming before happen. Most of the time, you're gonna see an elbow come. They're gonna defend the elbow. We're not throwing punches. The knee is gonna come in your face, and you're gonna find a way to block before another white belt can do it. They're going to hurt each other because not because they want, because it's elbow's going to fly, knee's going to come, the head's going to hit you. But if you upper belt knows how to hold them, but it's if you let go, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose the students most of the time, or because they get hurt, or because they get frustrated with the learning process. But the ones that stick with the things that we say during class, when they sign up here, they have a way more longer road on jiu-jitsu. They stick longer.
Do you do anything else for any newcomers as far as like they're not allowed to roll with other white belts? Do you do anything else to help kind of ease them into the culture and kind of make sure that they stick around longer?
Just show up to class. Show up to class. Yeah, we talk a lot. We have so many. They can have so many. What do you call this? Mentors here, right? I'm teaching, but as they're gonna pair up too. 90% of the class. Sometimes I split the class when it feels like I need to spend more time for them to develop a base technique, and I want to push for the upper belts. Technique is it's hard to understand, right? It need more time to develop, to explain for the upper belts. I spend more time. I split the class, but most of the time we're together. We do the same technique, and they're always going to pair up for another upper belt. It's the same thing too. They're the mentor of the day. From there they get guys that they're gonna be with them more. The guys, the upper belts in the class, they come. That's the ones gonna help them through their time they're gonna spend here. But it's come and enjoy the culture. Like we said, enjoy the techniques. Have feedback from me from the upper belts, like I said. But I believe it's just come and absorb the technique as they practice.
I was actually really curious about this because, when I first started at the school, I was pretty nervous. I was like, this is a martial art. I'm a big guy. People are going to want to kick my ass. People can kick my ass. But the big thing that I noticed was that everyone was extremely welcoming. Like everyone, like you said, like immediately people would want to show me things. They would teach me things. They would be super open. And when I was talking to some of the students that used to be at other schools in the past, or they come from somewhere else, one of the biggest things that stood out to them was like just how nice everybody was, even though things can get competitive at times. Like you hear at other schools, you hear some horror stories about like how just dog eat dog other schools are, and how the culture isn't good. So I'm curious, how did you have in mind trying to build a culture like this? Because I noticed this with like Waza too, since that's a stem from yourself. It's very similar to you. How did you do that?
As a combination of a bunch of things. Me teach for 25 years, right? That helps you to understand a little more what is the needs of the student. Have a guys up to 30 years, 40 years old that is not much competitive. They train hard, but they can be very kind with you, can help you understand that how to build the culture of a good. Because one of the things important in jiu-jitsu, you need to trust your physical integrity for your training partner, right? Because you literally, I'm going to put my neck for you. I have to trust you're going to let it go. Can you imagine this? If it's not even the competitive side, it is important too, right? Sometimes if you go to a place, it has the coach, the voice, go, pushing. This can develop some more competitive that you need to have when you're sparring, right? One of the things that I don't like much, you don't have much music when you roll. First, because music, it's everyone have your right, the things that the music that I like probably is not the ones that you like, and it's not the ones that Mark liked. That's not the ones. I mean, like, we have different tastes of music too, but to don't excite much at the moment that you're rolling. One of the things. The second thing is integrate the class like we do. So, yeah, you upper white belt don't roll with the. You cannot roll with another white belt, but you can roll with Nsima. When I say that, I want to bring a responsibility for you to, you know what? Yes, I have to take care of my little brother here right now. I mean, those things that I say, hey, no. Oh, roll with Julian. Go ahead. The group is going to show this for you. That's force him to, I have the responsibility to take care of this guy right now. I think giving responsibility for the upper belts helped me a lot to develop this class, that we have guys like you that are competitive athletes. They compete, they doing this, but at the same time, you know that you need those. You need Joe, you need Big Jack, you need John Garcia, you need Julian, you need all those guys to make you better. If you don't have those guys, you need Nejo, you need Caesar. We need those guys, because without them, how are you gonna get better? And it's good to develop your jiu-jitsu, because when they go with you right now, they say, look, I need to give my best for Nsima because he's getting ready for competition. But at the same time, when they finish you, they can call another white belt. It'd be a completely different person with their white belt, because their white belt, the needs that he has right now is different than yours. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
That's, I think, that helped me to build a place that I can build athletes like you, but at the same time, I still can develop guys that come here just to train as a hobby. Guys in the 50, they would just want to roll to get in better shape, to be in part of the culture, to lose weight, to maybe someday guys in the 40s compete. They look up to me nowadays. Does it make sense? I think that I help give responsibility for the upper belts that I have. You know, knows that once I finish class, they're gonna be here. I see on the evening class, I leave here, and people still here for another 30-40 minutes, just exchange technique. They don't need me anymore. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you see, hey, they come they ask me something, say, you know what, goes to that guy there, the guy knows better than me, do the technique that you ask for. When I say that, when you walk to, hey, please, Joe, Cassio just told me to walk to you, ask about this close guard that you do well. Man, means the word for the guy, because he knows how important it is for the team. Knows how important the things that I have can help me, can help the school, can help the students to get better.
Yeah, you're empowering the other guys in the school with, you know, kind words. Like, they're getting excited because you said that they're better at something than you are, even if it's not true. But that helps their psyche, helps their ego, and then also just you're empowering a lot of creativity by saying, hey, you know, Nsima, go work with Andrew. And Nsima might be the first time you ever told him that. And but now he's got to go off on his own and teach this technique. And you're not hovering over, and you're not saying, no, that's not the right way. Let me get in there and show you. You're kind of giving them the reins, and they get to be creative with it, which I think is brilliant. Yeah.
And that's why they create this environment here. You know, be a little bit more experienced teaching, knows the needs of the students. There was, when I came in 96, for me, it was all you compete, all you train hard, or you're not part of this. To know that this is not true, you know. So, and another thing that helped me is just have the feedback with the student. Say, hey, how's your day? Oh yeah, I was good. You know, I wake up 4 a.m. I work in construction all day. Went back home, kissed my wife, my kids, shower. It came back to here. When I see things like this, oh my gosh, man. Oh, the guy come here as a nurse, you know, like I said before. Oh, I work the shift the whole night, 7 a.m. 7 at night to 7 this morning. I held on my sleep until 11 in the morning to come into training. What? Man, you didn't sleep at all. You work all night and you here. You know, you have more appreciation for those guys. You know, this guy to get here. And sometimes I make fun as I'm teaching. And sometimes I spend too much time talking for the technique and see the student like this almost they cannot keep their eyes open because they're so tired. Instead of be pissed with this, it's honor for me. The guys there is falling asleep instead of being in bed now asleep. They're there. They're here training with me. I said, hey, Matt, hold on, hold your eyes open, please. I'm about to finish this, and you can have fun. But let me finish my sentence here. Please keep your eyes open. But yes, it's true. They work all day. They go to school. They have their own lives, and they still have to spend at least 2 hours, right? An hour and a half class plus the time they drive here, the time to drive until the body calm down, shower. It takes a lot of the day to be here. And some students, like Nsima, like a lot of guys, they do every day, right? They take the time to be here. There's 2 hours, 2.5 hours their day they doing here. It's a lot.
When you did open up a school, I would imagine that, after the UFC started to really take off in, late 90s, early 2000, your classes probably started filling up pretty good, right? Is that around the time that your school started to grow and then you were thinking about the possibility of opening up multiple schools?
Yeah. Going back there, 96 came, 97, I came here to spend time with my brother, to train at the South Sac School and competing. And from there, I got a job in Brazil that I was I teaching jiu-jitsu that required my time to be there. I was there more. And I was teaching, competing, teaching. But I still come here once in a while to seminars, to competing. And in 2001, I came here to do a seminar, and I got invited to teach here. And I saw the opportunity to, okay, you know what? I think now it's time to think about it because the jiu-jitsu start getting bigger, right? And I was my 27, 28 years old. I said, you know what? Or I'm going to take this serious to another level before I can get married. I was married already, sorry. I can have kids and provide full time of my time in jiu-jitsu because the way that I have there, I was in Brazil in late 90s. I was married. No, I got married in 2001, sorry. But late 90s, I had my girlfriend. It just turned to be my wife. I had my girlfriend, but I was a single guy that had no family, and live with my parents still. That I was making money enough to join my life as a competitor, paying my tournaments, competing, and make some money to teach. But I was already looking, no, I cannot make my living like this. I know when I turn to be adult, right? A real adult, to have a family, raise kids, pay my bills, I'm going to need more. That's when I start thinking about move down here. Or move here or use jiu-jitsu in Brazil as a second job, as a hobby, right? And I came here to a seminar in 2001. And in 2002, I came back here, but was in the same person, Dave Covers, from the Covers Karate School. He invited me to teach at one of his schools. I said, look, I'm not going to move here. I'm married right now. I'm not going to move here illegal. He said, no, I cannot even let you teach illegal here. And Derek Germano for Waza, he was the guy that I started, you know what, let's try and make this legal. Let's start looking for lawyers, see the possibility to have you teach here, move here with a work visa. But it was in 2002. Imagine it right after September 11, how bad it was to get immigrant to get a visa to move here, right, to teach. But he applied for lawyers. I think he has a cousin. She's a lawyer, and she said, "Oh, Derek, don't waste your time. This is not going to happen. After September 11, they're not going to give a visa for immigrant." And he said, you know what, I'm going to try. And he did all the paperwork. He applied. He got it. He's not a lawyer, but he put everything together for me. I got the visa. And when I came here in 2003, it was a different story. See guys enjoy more the culture of jiu-jitsu. They embrace more. They are more, they like tournaments. They like styles of jiu-jitsu. They like the way we see things. It's not much traditional martial arts, not much that have the culture of Japan can be relate more with the SoCal type approach, surf stylos, skateboard guys that I was doing jiu-jitsu back then. I think the culture got involved more, this helps in the tournaments, and of course the UFC. But the UFC would bring the students here, right, to do it. But they would be hooked about the rolling part. Or they would, this is not, it's not for me. It's not striking. This is not for me. But I saw a lot of guys embrace the culture, and because the tournaments, because watching the techniques, of course, the chess game. But I was introduced way better than when I came here in 96. 96 was super disappointing for me. But when in 2003, things got better. And it was with the years, early 2000s to late 2000, 2008, 2009, things started getting even bigger.
Did winning worlds in 2003 help with your growth? Like after that happened, did that really spur things forward at all? Or did it just add to your accolades?
Man, if I was a good marketing, I would be incredible, but I'm really bad on marketing. Probably know that. Should have helped me a lot back then, but didn't at all. I feels like it was. But the funny thing about the 2003 the roads, that of course the biggest term that I ever won was. I felt like I was chasing that dream so hard that I want to keep for myself. It almost like if you like me before I win the roads, you have to like the same after win the roads. I don't want the guys that are with me just because I won the roads. It's kind of narcissist mentality. I don't know how to say this, but I felt like I didn't want to expose my the road title as a way for me to gain the like of people. It's like when people walk here. Hey, who are you honored with? So what I mean, where's your jiu-jitsu come from? Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So, but who's your? You know what I mean? Like they want to label you from the things that come before you, right? And I feels like I should have taken more advantage of when I won the roads. But the media wasn't that the way it is right now, right? I remember I went to do a seminar at Lloyd Irving in Washington, D.C. I said, Cassio, you know that you are the only, right now, you are the only road title, 2003 road title that lives in U.S. And you have guys that won the road come to U.S., they do tours here. You see the posters of tour for East Coast tour and West Coast tour. I don't see enough about you doing those things. Why? I said, I answer him the same way right now. I'm not good at marketing. I felt like I didn't want to take advantage of the dearly my baby title. Does it make sense? It's kind of weird, but I didn't take advantage of that. But the growth came organic for me. It wasn't because I want a road title. Or because not. I don't know, maybe nowadays would have helped me or still help. I'm pretty sure help when they say, you want whoever's understand what the meaning of mundials, the road black belt adult. When they know this, they give credit. You want this? But a lot of times they walk here, they don't even know this. He's just he won't master the old man divisions. They never know that the things that I achieved before. When they find out, you won the roads? Oh, well, you talk about the master roads, right? See, I won master roads too. But no, in 2003, you were a master. I said, no, I wasn't a master. But how did you win the roads? Yeah, I won the roads, the adult roads. But you're a black belt. Until they know that one thing means that, wait a second. Does it make sense? But it's my fault to not bring this more up and still be, but that's okay.
I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, though. It's something that you did, and it's not necessarily defining exactly who you are. So you're kind of like, hey, F you if you don't know that I know what's up. Like, I know what's up. I don't need the world title to show that.
Yes, exactly. Like I don't want them. They get to this place here to first look in a wall in my curriculum to know how good we are. Does it make sense? How good this place is, how safe it is for you. And a lot of times they see about the term, probably they just have a bunch of badass guys there that just hold hard and tough. No, come here. You're going to see a lot of guys here that are super kind, super nice, and really good jiu-jitsu. And that it's not just Nsima's and me or Julian's or, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just world champions here. It's not guys. No. We have guys here that they're going to treat you really well. They're going to be really good in jiu-jitsu. You're going to have a lot to learn with them. You don't need the world titles to. It's good to be labeled with those things, make you proud. But the same thing is not the main reason for this. Maybe answer the question that we've done before: why this place people treat people nice? Maybe because that, the achievement is good, proud, raise our ego, but I don't think it helped much as a business.
Do you tell some of your fat guys to go talk to Nsima?
Man, they already they bothered him a lot with that. I done my part too. I took him to help me for sure too. Yep, 100%. But it's a different levels, right? When you see, it's like we just said right now. When you see the world champions, maybe start with this guy here before get to there. When you see Nsima in really good shape, say, man, how am I going to talk? They almost feel like, I still have to go through levels before talk with him. I said, no, get there. He knows these things. He knows how to deal with the guys that are out of shape, or the guys in shape too, for sure.
I'm curious about this because, I started jiu-jitsu late for what most people would say. I think I started when I was 27 now. I started when I was 23. And when a lot of because a lot of athletes listen to this podcast, and I feel like there are going to be some guys that are going to want to start jiu-jitsu now. And they're going to want to try to they're going to want to try and compete at a very high level. So from your perspective, being someone who's won worlds multiple times, what does it take for someone to get there, especially if they haven't been doing jiu-jitsu since they were 6-7 years old, like a lot of the crazy kids you see nowadays?
Yeah. Time. It's time. When I say time, it's not because they need more time. You can respect the time, right? You can push the time faster, but you need time. You're going to need time. Sometimes you rush into things. Nowadays, we want fast results, right? And jiu-jitsu is not seasoned sport. People here because they want to do this for the rest of their lives. They want this. And jiu-jitsu black belt, to win a title in the black belt, you don't come for season. Or I done this in college, now it's time to move on. No, you need time. The time is going to be 3-4 years, yes, 4, 5, 6, whatever time it is. You need time, and the time. And if you take a guy like you asked me this a while back. See that a guy with my age, with the time that I have in jiu-jitsu, when I started, too late for me to achieve the highest goals on this. Say no, you just need time. And the time can be fast. I can push, train harder, and get better. But a lot of times we want this goal. Oh, I want to do this. In 4 years, I'm going to be a world champion. I heard guys that are from the white to black belt, 4 years in a world champion. But when I get to the first years, I'm going to be a world champion triathlon right now. No, if you stick with the goals, if you stick to the things that you want to do it for a little longer than you expected, you're going to achieve. It's not a reason for not to achieve. It's a combination of your your physical attributes, your technique, your prime is going to come, anything come together, right? When the stars align, that's right. Mm-hmm. They say is a combination of technique, maturity, mental, and physical. The physical attributes are already there for you. Now is put the techniques together, put the mentality together, understand the game, the point system, whatever rules that you sign up for to be a world champion, right? And the biggest is the IBJJF. You want to be a world champion in jiu-jitsu in a gi, you want to win. You have to win worlds. You want to be a world champion no gi, you have to win the ADCC. Simple as that. There's the two biggest, the Olympic of our sport. IBJJF gi and no gi for ADCC. That's it, right? And you have to train for those rules. You have to train for those for that specific tournament. And I stick with. I don't see not why. Can be when you turn. I was 29. I got my black belts at 24. 24, 25, my first year as a black belt. Lost my first match. 26, I was probably the best shape, maybe more the better shape in 2003. Lost my first match. Went completely overtraining. It looks like a zombie walked to the mat. I didn't know if something's wrong with me, something's wrong with me. Because 2 weeks before, I was already overtraining. But the things that I was doing good wasn't working for me. But I kept pushing. No, this have to work. I'm going to train even harder. When I got looked like a zombie. Lost my first match like easy. Remember, when I got to 2003, that I have my years of frustration for my different prospect of how to look of the tournament, that control a little bit better my nerves, know what I want, things I have to go. The path was different because I deal with the frustration and some succeed in terms of the other tournaments, national Pan Ams. I won Pan Ams too, but when I got there, it was mental. It was a combination of a bunch of things, right? But took me time. It was 10 years since I was 10 years of the day they started, the day I met Helio Gracie, a little before they started, a little after I started, to the day I won Rhodes. Was 10 years, but took 5 years as a black belt, 4 years as a black belt, 5 years as a black belt to win. But for me, it was a combination of persistent, know how to deal with your frustration and stay in the path. That's what I want. When I moved here, I was 29. Everyone thought they would never heard about me compete anymore. Now he went there with his wife. He's gonna get the school, build the school, start raising kids, and not gonna do this. I was quiet here for 6 months, trained my butt off. Quiet. When I got to Brazil, it was a surprise for everyone. Nobody knew that we were going to get. Not even my parents knew it. They were going to Brazil. Because why? I left my wife here. Another thing that forced me to do better. So, man, I'm not come here to visit my parents. I'm not here to see my students have fun, to enjoy the beach, to enjoy party with them. No, I came here for the reason. And I'm going to be very frustrated if I don't follow my dreams here right now, if I don't do everything right. It was an experience, maturity, technique, all aligned in that day that I won. The year after 2004, but it was more stick with the things that I believe. And time. I respect the time. I stick longer to respect the time. Some guys, it's more talent than me. They still have the hard work. The time's going to come faster for them. For me, it came a little bit later. And see guys that is going to come even later than them. Going to take more than 3-4 years. But again, respect time.
How about this? I'm curious, in terms of jiu-jitsu, and how has it affected you as a person? Because I know from when I started jiu-jitsu to even now, having that feeling of failing every single day gave me a new appreciation for doing new things and just being really, really bad at them. So how has jiu-jitsu kind of changed you or helped you as a man?
Man, for me, it was incredible. right? Because I was looking for something. I was kind of like you. When I would start doing jiu-jitsu, I was just doing weights. And if you don't know, I won a bench press competition when I was 16 years old. It's crazy, right? I did the bench press, deadlift, and squats. Right, I was 16, competing for adults, and I was doing just weights. And I stopped doing capoeira because I wasn't good at capoeira at all. And capoeira wasn't fun for me anymore. And I was horrible at capoeira. No, horrible. I was bad. I wouldn't say that I was horrible at capoeira, but I was bad in capoeira. And I was looking for something competitive to do it, that I challenge myself. One thing that I learned from me, I wasn't good much in the team sports because I would hate to blame my teammates for their mistakes, and I want to have the responsibility to my mistake to affect them. And I realized that I wasn't good. I didn't like much team sport because of that. That's why I stopped soccer. Even the things that we play in Brazil, I wasn't doing anymore because it frustrated me much. The only fights that I got as a kid was in a soccer field. It was because things like this, or because I was selfish with the ball, because the guy do some stupid stuff, and I went there to yell at him and got in a fight. But most of my fights come from a soccer field. It's crazy. But for me, when I started doing jiu-jitsu, I felt something. You know what? Something that I felt passionate about it. And I'm the youngest of 4, right? And I was the worst in school for all my brother wasn't good at all too, but I was even worse than them. It's because I was going to school and I never saw something there that would have helped me in my future. It's crazy to say this. It's just completely stupid. Sorry, kids, don't do what I did. But I felt like I was sitting there. Nothing took my attention. If you ask my parents now, I said the only problem Cassio gave to me was school. He would attract me school because my school, I was in a private school. In Brazil, the parents sacrifice to do a private school for if you're middle class, right? They're going to sacrifice to give a private school for you. And it wasn't any sports related. I would say that if you have a sport related, they would force me to be better in school, but nothing. They have a treatment for me. Oh, if you do good in school, you can play soccer. If you do in school, you're going to wrestle. If you're good in school, you're going to play judo. They didn't have anything, those things for me. And I was there in school. I barely finished my high school. And my parents, okay, I have to do college right now. I said, no, I want to do jiu-jitsu. They do what? I said, yes, I'm gonna make my living jiu-jitsu. I have idea how, but I want to do this. I want to compete jiu-jitsu. I love this. I want to compete. And for parents that I thought that would have the kids, like I said, come for private school, pay a lot of money for put them in school to be a jiu-jitsu instructor in Brazil. They said, "Are you crazy? I expect you to be a doctor, to work in the office, or work for the government because I was in the capital, live in the capital." I said, "No, I want to do this." That's why my parents, my dad said, "You know what? The grace is the best. Why not?" That's when I saw my parents, my dad say, "You know what? This kid knows what he wants. He's 19 years old, already say what he wants." We were 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do with this kid? He doesn't like school. How's going to be his future? But out of my brothers, my sisters, I was the first one to choose what I want to do it. Right? That goes to stay in the path. If you like this, stick with. It's gonna come. And for me, it was like this. Nah, I feel like I can be good on this. But for answer your question, Nsima, was way beyond just build my character, right? Is to find out something. Okay, I can be good on this. What I mean can be good. This is not just be good in choking people and armbar people. No, it's to have something to give. It's something that I can teach. It's something that someone's gonna look up to me, right? And when I was 21, I was already teaching with a lot of young kids in my back. I had a lot of teenagers that I was trained with me. You know, all guys older than me, guys in their 30s, they 40, look up to a 21 years old kid, right? I have to be the responsible guy to my young guys a little younger than me, but at the same time, I have to have the right attitude to the older guys, you know, because they look up to, okay, my kids, I want to one day my kids start training with you. But for me, it was build who I am, 100%. You know, maybe this was, since I was born, I had this thing on me that have helped me, this competitive side of related to martial arts. I don't know, you know, related with my name. My name came up by Cassius Clay, Cassius, the Muhammad Ali. That's why my dad gave my name. I don't know, something was there that I discovered when I was 18 years old, 17 years old, watching Jiu-Jitsu on TV.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much for your time. We'll let you get back to your life, and we wish you the best, and hopefully things get back to normal so you can get that school back up and running, since it means so much to people.
To all of us. Hope the same for you too, Mark. Thank you very much. I know that you're supposed to do last year, didn't work out, but thank you to have me. Unfortunately, it's not in person, but it's still good. It's still good talk. Sorry that I talk too much. Nsima knows that.
It was great. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
They can find me here. No, they can find. Yes, the school you can find me everywhere. You know, because if you go to 80% of the martial arts school here in Sacramento is going to come from one of my black belts. And if you tell that you know me, you're my friend, online friend, they're going to treat you well. But we have a school here. You can find me at CassioWerneck.com. Have a school, this one here, the Auburn location, one in Roseville. We have affiliate school in Rockland too. Rockland, no, what do you call that? The Loomis, Mat Time Jiu-Jitsu. But again, we have Waza, we have mixed grappling with Mike and Lena. We have Synergy with Nate and Jeff. We have Infinity Jiu-Jitsu, Brett Sandoval in downtown, Terry Maxwell. Sorry, guys. Let me just put there because I don't want to miss my guys. Brett Sandoval, Dus Akabari, Uriah's Place. Devin Maxwell opened his school now in Fulton, and sorry, but more like East Sac. My boy Kill in Auburn, Morgan in oh my gosh, what about I forgot the city that he's up here in up to the mountains. What do you call? Grass Valley. Sorry, Grass Valley. Morgan's Grass Valley. Who else? Anyways, I have a lot of guys. If you reach out for me, you can online. You know, one of my students, they have the Instagram. I don't know how that works, but I don't have it.
Cassio Werneck Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, thank you very much. But you can use the old style. If people don't know, we have this thing called telephone. Still can call 916-482-2505. You can find it. You find us everywhere. But if you
awesome. Thanks again for your time.
If you decide to do jiu-jitsu, you relate with me. I appreciate that. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Nsima. Thank you, Andrew. Sorry that I talked too much, guys. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Thanks,
appreciate it. Catch you later.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
That was awesome.
Man, Cassio's awesome. He's super like humble too. Like there's a lot of stuff he didn't mention. Like I don't think he would have even mentioned winning worlds if I didn't mention it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like the dude's still a beast, like an absolute beast. And when he says like he won a bench press competition, like if you see pictures of him when he was like younger, like seriously, his arms were probably like the size of mine, and his chest was super massive. It's not, it's no games. Like that dude was a bulldog straight up. Yeah.
It was super cool, man. It was great hearing some of his stories and some of the stuff he talked about. I mean, how relatable was it? We were just talking about school the other day and how we don't like the way that schools run. And then he talks about how he runs his school, and he talked about how, the success of the school, and you talked about how kind a lot of the people are, and he talked about empowering other students and letting them be creative. And, we were just talking about this yesterday. So I don't know why that happens on this podcast every time, but like, how is it that we talked about that yesterday and he talked about the exact same thing today? It seems like, I know sometimes we're getting people that are justifying some of the things that we say, like we might talk about red meat and then we might have Sean Baker on, but this is like not related. We weren't trying to do anything like that. And I just find it really interesting how these same things kind of keep circulating around.
Yeah, and then also about him knowing that school wasn't going to help his future.
It had nothing for him, he said. He said he knew it had nothing for him. I was like, that was great. That's a funny way to put it. But, I think sometimes when you speak a different language, sometimes people will be really blunt. They get right to the point, and that's a good way of putting it. It just had nothing for him.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like, I find it so wild how like before the time of like social media and all of this stuff, right? He barely spoke English. He comes here and he opens up a school, learns English, opens up multiple schools. Like he's an immigrant business owner, and he's been able to build something in the United States here that has, like, honestly, like all of the schools here stem from him. But when you also think about it, those instructors are able to teach jiu-jitsu, provide for their families, provide for their communities of the people that go there, all because of him starting these schools here. Like, just the community that stems from what he started, it's the impact is crazy.
I think that's huge. What you just said is community. I think people don't think as much about community anymore. They think about followers, they think about how many Instagram followers you have and YouTube followers, but how much more impactful is it to have, in real life, people that are like following you, supporting you, assisting you, with the schools and the different people that he has connections to within a community itself. He could get just about anything done. Like, God forbid this area gets hit with like an earthquake or something, but he could have a call to action to all of his practitioners, all the people that have been following his school, and they can go out and they can physically like help people, and whereas, if you try to do that via social media, even myself with the amount of people that I have, luckily we have super training, but if I didn't have super training, I could put out something via social media and not have any response locally or hardly any. Whereas somebody like him, who's got these roots deeply etched in our society and deeply etched in our local community, he's going to have more power. And I hope that we see more people try to figure out ways of coming together, which it's complicated at the moment because of the virus. But I hope that we see more of that and a little less emphasis on what's going on in social media.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, if anyone here is like listening from the school, we talked a little bit about it before, and Andrew, I'm really happy that you brought up in terms of like everything that's happening and supporting the school. If you're able to, like, we should like just do our best to support the school, because like we want to be able to have that to come back to, if you're able, of course, because this is a hard time for everybody. Everybody has different situations, but that place, I know not just for myself, but for so many people there, that place is just like a place where you had a really tough day, things are rough, but jiu-jitsu is that place where you can let it all out. Just like, we have lifting, but jiu-jitsu is a place where like, you don't even think about that. You just roll. You have that community. You have those people you can talk and you can laugh with. And we want that place to be there when we get back. So let's do our best, I guess.
I really feel what he's saying when he's talking about not caring that much about like the World Championship, because I'm sure people go in there and they're like, well, who are your black belts? And how many black belts do you have? And how many championships do you have? And they're like looking for belts, and they're looking for gold medals on the wall, and they're looking for all that stuff. And those are all great things to be proud of. But when you think about how much progress people make as individuals in their life, you're kind of like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're looking for a world championship? Like, who gives a shit about that? You know, this guy over here is bipolar and he would have killed himself, 4 years ago if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu. And this guy over here, was broke and he was an alcoholic, and now he's, married and he's got kids and he's doing great and he's been coming here. Like, no one, that other stuff washes away and it pales in comparison to the growth that people experience from stuff like that. And we've seen a lot of that firsthand at super training as well, where you're like, yeah, it's great that we've had some people lift some big weights, and that's some of the cool stuff that's happened in super training. But the strongest things I've ever seen, in super training, and I'm sure Cassio would probably say the same thing, has nothing to do with an actual performance like on the platform. It has to do with people's individual lives and the growth that I've seen people experience from the actual gym itself.
Yeah, it's like somebody coming in saying, hey, Mark, what are you benching these days? Like, oh, because it better be a lot or else I'm not buying an elbow sleeve. So, yeah, it's silly, right?
Right.
No, but jiu-jitsu, like I was curious about asking him the effect that he sees it has on kids, because like you hear there's so many kids in terms of their self-confidence, and it's just massive, the effect that it has, just like, playing sports does too. But I feel like it's a little bit different just because, like I mentioned, the getting that dose of really, really tough failure, like physical, trust that your partner's not going to make you pass out. Getting that dose of that every day as a kid, I feel like that might be something different. I don't know.
It's definitely different because it's so physical, like physical one-on-one with somebody else. If you play basketball or if you play football or something like that, a lot of times, people will say, oh, you're in a fight. You're in a one-on-one fight with the guy in front of you. And you're like, only kind of are, it's not really, you're not really in a one-on-one fight. You might be kind of wrestling around with the guy in front of you if you're a lineman or something like that, but it's just way different. You're utilizing football techniques or utilizing basketball techniques. You're not really trying to like physically dominate the other person, making them surrender, making them tap out. They don't even have the option to do that. You could just kind of whoop their ass all game and they don't have an opportunity to ever admit like, hey man, you killed me the entire game. So sometimes after the game, but jiu-jitsu is way different. And even getting comfortable, with wrestling or any like stuff, getting super close quarters with another person. And as he was saying, trusting in your partner that you're training with, because you're not really fighting every day. You're practicing a martial art. You're practicing something, and in order to practice that properly, it's a two-way street. You need to learn from each other. You can't just be out there annihilating each other every single time. So I think, if you could imagine if every kid just had to go through that, whether it be wrestling or jiu-jitsu, I actually think it would be really, really valuable to anyone, not even just Americans, but I think it would be a really valuable thing to go through in school. And, when it comes to like physical education, it's like, oh, so-and-so, he can't run because he's got these knee issues. He's out of shape, but everyone can grapple. Everyone can, wrestle around with each other. And I actually think it would be great if that was taught in school. Why not?
Andrew, does this make you feel, because you were talking to me about wanting to head in and get started with it.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. It only made it worse. And then especially him kind of giving Waza, which is like, it's probably 10 minutes away from where I'm at right now, giving the stamp of approval on that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude. There's the big hurdle of what Mark was just saying, like to be like wrapped around somebody or have them wrapped around me, and then like we're sweating, and then it's like, I got weird stomach issues. I'll probably be the guy that's like farting in the corner. So it's like small things like that. But then also hearing what you're saying, how when you got there, everyone was just extremely nice, and that culture that he was able to build at his place, but also that same thing kind of feeding into everywhere else that he's been associated with. Yeah, it absolutely made everything even worse. It's like like, damn it. Like I just need to walk in there and just, see what it's like and experience it. There is the financial side of things that is also a huge hurdle, but I mean, I don't know. It's I'll figure out a way, right? Like it won't be, like the end of the world if I add another bill to the month, hopefully, as I look over at my fiance. But yeah, no, dude, it was very motivating to have him on, and kind of, that's why I kept asking him questions about like, oh, so what happens when a new guy comes in, and so. Yeah, and I like your questions about like, oh, say there's a guy that, says he wants to do jiu-jitsu, but he wants to work on it and get in shape. And I can see Mark smiling down on the bottom, just like, yeah, I think he's talking about me.
No, it's not just Mark.
Yeah, we have that happen. Yeah, we have it happen a lot of super training too, where people are like, oh, I got to go train at a different gym before I start powerlifting, Yeah, we see it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only way to do it is to get into it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's going to hurt either way.
Yeah. And what's really cool is he kind of got into it when Nsima, you were asking him about like what has it done for him. But like in the like we'll just say like in bodybuilding, like everybody on the outside thinks like, oh, the best benefit is going to be you're going to look super jacked and you'll be in great shape. But at the end, it's sort of like, oh wait, no, now I have this discipline, I have this mindset, I have all these other things that came from it. So Nsima, what do you think is the best benefit you've gotten from jiu-jitsu thus far?
Being okay with like being really bad, and not necessarily being okay with it, but understanding that I continue tackling the problem, no matter how many times I fail at it. Because I mean, alluded to it before, like in the beginning, I was getting my ass tossed to me in so many different ways, like so many different ways people were demolishing me. And it didn't help that I was big, because then it was more so of like okay, I really want to demolish that guy. And not demolish in like, they would try and hurt me or whatever, but they would be like, to beat up a guy that looks so large, it's like, yeah, like your muscle doesn't matter, and it doesn't. But learning that I can just keep tackling something and get good at it was really good. Because like I said, I mean, it's really rare that you come across something in adulthood that's totally new and totally foreign. I never had grappling experience, never did a sport like jiu-jitsu. So it's not like I was coming from a wrestling background, and being totally fresh, I think it gave me a lot to utilize in just my day-to-day, what I do, and learning.
Well, you're a really good athlete, and there's probably not a lot of things that people could figure out how to beat you at. So, they have the opportunity when you're new to get you, in the beginning, and they probably feel like, hey, like this is my opportunity, to get one over on you. And after a while, I'm sure all that wears off and no one cares, but you could kind of point out, you could say, hey, you see that guy over there? I choked that guy out. People are like, that guy over there? I don't think so. I don't think you really did that. I'm like, nope, I did.
Yeah. Oh, they did. They did. And just by the way, I want to say there's never any malice at Cassio's when they were beating my ass. Like they were beating me up, but it was in a very it was never like, I got you, bitch, So
no one did a victory dance.
No one did a victory dance.
That's awesome. I was going to ask, so thanks for clarifying that. That's pretty good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I'm going to get some training in later today. How about you guys?
Yep. I'm going to come in later and get some training in.
Already did it.
Go in and get some squats.
Yeah.
There you go, Andrew.
Yeah, I did a markbell.com workout this morning, and then I finished it off with some more lunges. I was just curious. I'm like, let me see how long it takes me to do this. So I did 10 laps. I don't know what that equates to as far as like meters or anything, but I did that, and it took me like right at 15 minutes. So
damn.
Yeah. So that's, it's lunging and then like a maybe like 30 to 45 second break in between, going down the stretch of the turf. Starting tomorrow, it's going to step up a little bit more to being more consistent with less breaks. But it's been fun, man. I haven't felt my legs feel this juicy in a really long time, and it feels great. I'm getting beat up, but not to the point where I can't wake up and do it again tomorrow.
You build up some good resilience to it. When you squat really often or you train your legs really often, it doesn't take long. It takes just a couple of days, really, it feels like, and then they start feeling better and better.
Yeah, well, day one, after the third lap, I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I'm going to be able to get 5 laps in today. And then now, I don't really start getting too tired until the 5th time up and down. So I'm like, all right, this is working. This is really cool. And then another side effect is I've been freaking starving lately. I've been really, really hungry. Fasting is I'm going to have to open up that feeding window because my metabolism, I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming it's because of the lunges, because as soon as I started, that's when my hunger level went through the roof. So that's been a really cool side effect, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it burns a lot of calories, that's for sure. And your body keeps track of that shit. Your body's like, hey, dude, what are you doing up there?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, also,
cool.
There's this guy named Gil. Shout out to Gil. He's not a client of mine or anything, but he listens to the podcast. He actually trained a bit at Super Training. You guys might have probably seen him around. And then he started doing jiu-jitsu too. He's lost a lot of weight on carnivore. He's a white belt. I think he's in his late 40s or early 50s, but when we were having jiu-jitsu before this whole quarantine happened, man, I saw him in there quite a bit, learning it, going at it, doing carnivore training, and he's been killing it. So, man, I know you're listening. Just during this whole quarantine, man, keep your training going, dude. Don't stop now. I'll see you back on the mats. Yeah,
we've seen him in a bunch of times at Super Training. He comes in on the weekends. Mm-hmm. He also follows a bunch of stuff on markbell.com. He's spoken to both of us. Yeah, he was been pretty consistent. So that's really cool to hear that he's jumped on the jiu-jitsu train. The jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Speaking of markbell.com, we mapped out 8 weeks of home workouts. And in addition to the home workouts, that's kind of assuming that you have a little bit of equipment. We did 8 weeks of just body weight stuff. So all that's available. And I made it free because I just understand, this rough time everyone's going through. In order to get free access, you do need to type in your email and stuff like that. And then, after the month is over, after it runs through 4 weeks, you would get charged. But if you don't want to get charged, you can just sign on out of it. I got no problem with that. So it's just the way the site works. It's the way that it's set up. There's not another way to really do it. What we're going to additionally do is I'm going to present you guys with some free content on my YouTube channel. In addition to that, when you go to the website, which is not set up quite yet, there'll be a free video there that changes weekly. So over the course of the 8 weeks, you're still going to be able to see that without even entering anything in, because I just know that you guys are getting stir crazy, and I know that everyone wants to keep moving. And so I thought this would be a good way to, help encourage you to keep moving around. Andrew, take us on out of here, buddy.
Dope. Thanks, Mark. Shout out to Piedmontese for sponsoring this episode. All links, everything will be in the YouTube description and iTunes show notes, along with all our social media stuff. But if you guys want to hit me up, it's at I am Andrew Z. Please make sure you're following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. Facebook, YouTube, in the LinkedIn, we're all over the dang place. If you guys, wherever you're listening to this, go ahead and do a little screenshot, tag any one of us. It's really cool. I really like seeing, especially if you guys are on a 10-minute walk and whatnot. It's just awesome to see. So thank you guys that have done that. Thank you to everybody that's been rating and reviewing the podcast on iTunes. That is such a huge help. We'll never be able to thank you enough, but we'll do our absolute best. Nsima, where are you at?
Real quickly, Andrew said, keep doing those 10-minute walks. And then after that, head into a little bit of a squat. If you want to make it 10 minutes, like a 10-minute squat, go ahead. go ahead and do it. You can find me at Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, at Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark?
Hell yeah, that was a lot of fun with Cassio. He was fantastic, and we've been hearing so much good information about him, what a great mentor he is, what a great leader and coach that he is. So I can't wait to meet him one day in person. Haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, but we'll get that squared away when all this virus stuff passes us by. Lastly, I just want to thank my friend Jesse Burdick. He's the one that helped put together a lot of the programming that you're going to see on markbell.com, the bodyweight stuff and the home workouts and things like that. And then also I have a little announcement to make here. Congratulations to Jesse and his wife, Katie Hogan. They have a baby on the way. So
wow,
that's really exciting. You know, some of you that know Jesse, he has twin girls, and those girls couldn't be more excited and more pumped. And, you know, kind of a scary time to have something like that happening, but hopefully the baby won't be born until, you know, hopefully this mess gets a little bit more cleared up. But just something I want to encourage you all to do is we're using Zoom right here, but there's other things like this where you get to see people face to face. And I encourage you to call your parents. I encourage you to call your aunts, your uncles, the different people in your life. Maybe pick one person every day and just give them a shout, say hello, make sure you can see their face. It's just way different. You know, if all you can do is make a phone call, then that will have to work as well. But if you have the option to see their face, I think you can do stuff on Facebook. I think FaceTime. I think there's Zoom. I think there's Skype. I think there's plenty of options that you can look into. This is super simple. This is just an app on your phone, and you send somebody the link. They click on the link. I think both parties have to have the app, I think is the only kind of thing. But the app's free, right? It doesn't cost you anything. Just type in some information and you're set and you're good to go, and you get to see the face of your loved ones. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch y'all later.